Sophie. Just telling my guest today that I am online and ready for her. So I'm speaking to Holly Johnson. There she is, she's just joined now. So Holly is the editor of Planet Mindful magazine. So I'm going to be talking with her. Let me grab her. Hello.
Hiya.
Hello, how are you? Holly Johnson.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hang on, I'm just... Yeah, sorry, just getting set up.
Not a problem at all.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm enjoying the sunshine. I didn't like that whole rain being back again.
No, it was a bit of not what we needed at this time of year, was it?
No, definitely not.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I was just telling everyone that you're the editor of Planet Mindful magazine, so we're going to ask you a couple of questions about that and how you got into it. So to start off, can you tell us a little bit about Planet Mindful magazine and what readers can expect from it?
Yeah, sure. So it's still a fairly new magazine. We've been going a few years now. It's kind of aimed at anyone who wants to obviously live more mindfully, more, take care of their well-being, and take care of the planet as well. So it's very much focused on just slowing down, living a calmer life. Life is so busy, so fast, so hectic that so many of us are kind of struggling with our mental health. It's something that's really topical at the moment, really important. So and then there's obviously the sustainability aspect with climate change. So it's just living a kinder life for yourself and for the earth, really.
Yeah, I like the way a kinder lifestyle sounds like a really nice way to put it.
Yeah.
So you touched on about sustainability, mindfulness, and well-being covered. Do you think that the lockdown and the pandemic has sort of made people more aware, and have you sort of seen more people migrating to your magazine because they're more aware and like you say, were forced to slow down, so they've had more time to think about the way they want to live?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think having those lockdowns where we had to stop, we couldn't carry on at the pace we were. Obviously, at the time it wasn't perhaps very nice. We couldn't see friends and family, but actually now we're coming out of that. People are sort of almost missing things from lockdown, when you couldn't go to all those birthdays or, social engagements, and you didn't have to keep up with the pace of life. Obviously a lot of people were and still are working from home, which, takes out the stress of the commute and things like that, having to be in the office 5 days a week. So I think a lot of us are kind of reflecting on what we liked about being in lockdown and the things that we want to change going forwards.
Definitely, yeah. So for those who want to practice mindfulness, can you explain what it is? Because I will put my hands up and say I sort of have heard the term of mindfulness, but it wasn't until I sort of went on your Instagram page and looked at the ways to do it and what it is that I realised that it's actually a whole separate thing. So can you explain what it is and sort of some easy steps on how you can start being more mindful?
Yeah, definitely. Mindfulness isn't really it's not difficult. It doesn't cost any money. It's literally just kind of tweaking how you think and just constantly reminding yourself to think or be more aware as you're doing, going about your day-to-day life. So for example, since I've started practicing it, since kind of being on the magazine and just learning more about it, because like you, I wasn't, it wasn't really part of my life, sort of a few years ago. But just, if I now take the dog for a walk, I will make a conscious effort, instead of, catching up on my emails or replying to WhatsApp messages, I will make sure that I'm going for a mindful dog walk, which involves listening to nature, kind of thinking about, looking at the flowers that are out at the moment, all those lovely wild flowers, It's kind of, you know, connecting with your senses. So what can I smell? What can I hear? It's all about being in the moment, rather than never being in the moment and constantly, you know, trying to get ahead of yourself. Oh, I need to do that later, and not sort of, you know, it's that, you know, it's as simple as that really. And it could be anything. Cooking, you know, how does the food smell? How does it feel? How does it taste? You know, anything that you do, you can do mindfully. And it's just, yeah, it's just something that anyone can do, and they can just start right now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like for someone like myself, like I've tried to do meditating and things like that, and I think it's good for people who maybe have more of an active mind and they find it difficult to just sit still and do nothing. So it's sort of like you say, just being more aware of what you're doing in the moment and taking time to just think, okay, I'm just going to enjoy what I'm doing now. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try and start doing more of that.
Give it a go.
So what is your sort of favourite type of content to write for Planet Mindful? As you sort of said, you cover a lot of different sort of sectors and categories. So what do you enjoy writing the most?
We do. I mean, it's such a lovely magazine to work on. I'll just quickly flash our latest issue cover. I'm actually on print deadline with our next issue today, which is out on I think the 7th of July. So yeah, it's such a nice magazine to work on, and I love all the content. I'm lucky to work with some amazing writers from the world of well-being. So they could be therapists, you know, life coaches. They're all kind of experts in their field. But for me personally, it's very much the sustainability that I'm kind of passionate about. I do try, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm perfect in any way whatsoever. You know, I've got 2 children, and it is hard, you know, and we're rushing around trying to, you know, sort of juggle. Sorry, my dog's barking. You know, we're trying to juggle work and all our other things in life. It's not easy, but I think definitely I do try and, you know, reduce my impact, and I'm constantly learning, and I think we all are. We're all on our own journey. But yeah, I definitely. That is what I'm sort of most passionate about. I eat a plant-based diet, which I find is obviously really good for lowering your impact, and it makes me feel really good. So that's something I'm sort of quite passionate about.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Sort of we speak to lots of different people, and one who is passionate about sustainability and the environment, they do say it's the little steps. You don't just have to suddenly, you know, not buy any new clothes. You can't do that. It's very much a process, and that's what's sort of more enjoyable about those. It's the little steps that you take as you go. So no, I definitely can see that that's a good sort of angle for the magazine. So how did you get into journalism and where you are today at Planet Mindful?
So, God, I feel so old. I honestly think of myself as like sort of, you know, 5 years out of uni, but I graduated in the year 2000, so that was 22 years ago. But yeah, I did English at uni in Winchester, and then I moved to Bristol, where I worked for a small publishing company. Just kind of took whatever job in publishing I could find. I always kind of knew I wanted to write and kind of tell stories. Even when I was little, I used to like write novels. Obviously they were just in my little jotter book, but yeah, I used to write novels, and I always wanted to be an author. Whereas as you get older, you obviously kind of look into things and think, actually, no, I don't think writing books is for me. I'm
so much more to writing than
exactly. Yes, exactly. And I'm quite a busy person, so I think writing a book would be a bit too slow for me. So I enjoy the fast pace of magazines with those monthly or bi-monthly deadlines. So yeah, I worked for a small company and then kind of worked my way up, worked for some bigger magazines. I spent about 5 years working on a wedding magazine, and then I went freelance and wrote for lots of different titles, sort of craft magazines, well-being, vegan titles, and then I took over as editor of Simply Vegan, which was 2 or 3 years ago now. Sadly, that magazine closed when COVID hit, like a lot of titles, which is a real shame. But then they bought it back as a podcast, so I now host.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. We'll have to listen to that.
Yeah,
in the Spa PR office.
Yeah, it's great. So, I mean, you know, sort of in at the deep end a little bit. I've never hosted a podcast before. And obviously, I think us journalists are having to constantly, you know, it's not just a magazine anymore. You've got all the digital side of things and
Adapt to so many new platforms that are coming out.
yeah, you do. So I think that is key if you do want to work in journalism these days. Is you've got to be really willing to just kind of, you know, go, okay, there's a new platform for social media, right? I need to learn this and just, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do that, and obviously I edit Planet Mindful as well. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and you've got a nice sort of they all interlink quite nicely as well with like
Yeah.
magazine now. So yeah, so then what do you personally like to do to keep yourself grounded? I know you said you sort of practice mindfulness, but have you seen through your job, through the magazine, any recommendations on new wellness trends that are on the rise, or things that you've sort of tried for articles that you think are sort of going to be popular for the next coming year?
Yeah, so our next issue that comes out early July actually has a feature on breath work, which is really popular at the moment. I don't know if you've heard of Wim Hof, but his following has grown massively. I think he's like at over 1.5 million followers now. Wow. On Instagram, I think. He is known as the Iceman. So he's all about sort of the breathing, so you can see any of his videos on YouTube or on his website, and that is really good for just, you know, if you think how often we don't actually breathe deeply, we're constantly sort of like breathing from up here, so that is something that's really helped me. He also does like the ice bathing.
Yeah, that's helped because we've done a lot of our sort of spas have started incorporating wild swimming, so we know of him through that because of the sort of submerging and the cold water. It's up actually cold water swimming and forest bathing and that sort of thing. In a lot of our spas, we've noticed there's a big rise in trend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not quite at the ice bathing stage yet, but I have in the last year, actually, since last summer. I think sort of lockdown and COVID and everything, and not being able to do things kind of spurred me on to think, I really want to swim in the sea again. I used to do it as a child. I'm lucky to live 10 minutes from the beach. Why am I not doing this? You know, so I got a wetsuit and I love it. And I went in December for my birthday. And
feel brave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm swimming miles or anything, but even just getting in and just being in the water for a short time, it just, you know, you get like those endorphins, and it's great for your immune system. So yeah, I'd say that's a huge trend and definitely something that I've sort of started to incorporate. Other things, definitely tech. I mean, apps, you know, mindfulness apps, meditation apps, podcasts seem to be huge. I believe Facebook are actually launching in the US Facebook podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully that will slowly come over to the UK. So that's quite exciting. I think it's just different ways of getting your information, isn't it? And finding new ways that work for you to you know, to sort of enhance your well-being.
And I think it's about reclaiming time because you know, everyone was at home not doing anything, but now they might see their commute as like, oh, actually I don't have to sit on my work laptop, or I don't have to be replying to my emails. I can still, even though I'm moving and I can still reclaim that time and use those platforms to do those things. So yes, it's interesting to see that tech, because a lot of times sort of well-being and tech, everyone's sort of like, no, tech and the internet and social media aren't good for your mental health, like, take a break. So it's nice to see that they are together.
Yeah, I think it's about balance, isn't it? You know, I mean, I'm guilty of you know, waking up and starting to scroll because you look at your time, you know, you look at your phone for the time, and then suddenly you've got WhatsApp messages and or you've got Facebook notifications, and before you know it, you've lost half an hour to an hour of your time. So
everyone watching will be a victim to that. I know.
Yeah, so again, it's being mindful of that and saying, well, do I want to start my day like this? Actually, no. What could I do differently? Well, actually, I could get up and go outside and, you know, watch the sunrise, or just do a bit of grounding, you know, just place your bare feet on the grass, or, you know, anything like that. I think it's obviously a better start to the day than
No, well, thank you very much. It's been really interesting. I'm definitely gonna, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna try and go outside before I look at my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll try
thank
and do
you
it
so
as
much.
well.
The Planet Mindful Instagram page is great for like little visuals. I love all of the little illustrations you have. So anyone watching who does want to learn more about mindfulness or how you can get into it, then do go and follow them and read the new magazine. Obviously, the new issue sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us.
That's
And
okay.
who wants to follow Planet Mindful, we'll be leaving their little tag. So
Lovely. Thank you so much.
thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Bye.